this news is a lot more significant than people realize. And I don't think anybody has explained this the way I'm about to explain this to you. I bet you not a single person has explained what's happening to you about the situation with the internet and Pezeshkian's involvement with this the way I'm going to explain it to you. So I have to get into the proper, mindset right now to be able to get started in this. And guys, I see the super chat, so I'll get to those. But let me actually think about how I want to start this because I don't have time to do recordings. This part has to be cut, right? So editor, my dear editor, start from wherever I start explaining this, okay? But let's read this again. Iran's partial restoration of international internet access after nearly 3 months of blackout has opened a new fight inside the ruling system, with hardliners accusing President Masoud Pezeshkian's government of bypassing powerful security and cyberspace institutions. Let me tell you something already. Let me actually bring myself on screen. So the news is regarding the internet, what the news is that we're hearing, both from inside Iran, but also media from outside of Iran covering this. What the framing is that the internet is now, international internet access is back in Iran. And President Pezeshkian ordered the internet to be back on. And there is now an internal division and infighting, and hardliners are attacking President Masoud Pezeshkian for bringing the internet back, given that there are institutions responsible for cyberspace security that it is their responsibility and it's their decision what happens to the internet. So remember, guys, I've already told you that when Pezeshkian came out and ordered the internet to be put back on, I told you guys that Pezeshkian doesn't have the authority in Iran to bring the internet back on, right? I said that it's one of these three, or basically all of them together, who would decide whether the internet would be on or off inside Iran. The Office of the Supreme Leadership, the Supreme National Security Council, and what I know in Persian is called Shoraye Aliye Fazai Majazi, which I think will translate to the Supreme Council of Internet. So, yes, you did say that. Good. Thank you for remembering. So now, not only they're pretending that Pezeshkian ordered for the internet to be turned back on, they also have the so-called hardliners attacking him for why the internet is back on. You bypass these other institutions, okay? And it was not your decision. And I'm going to tell you, this part is still not the part that you guys are going to be like, ooh, because the people who watch me, they already know this. I'm going to tell you that this fighting against Pezeshkian has been engineered. This is not an organic attack on Pezeshkian. This is an engineered attack on Pezeshkian. I showed you a video recently of a member of parliament, Ghassan Farian, attacking Pezeshkian, calling and basically saying him and Arakchi are working with the Zionists, trying to get Mujtaba Khamenei killed. They're accused. So this is, guys, everything I'm about to say, let me know if you don't understand, because this internet coming back goes so much deeper, and it reveals a lot of information regarding how the Islamic Republic operates. And what the internet coming back also reveals the strategy that the Islamic Republic has when it comes to negotiating the deal with President Trump. Okay. So At the surface level, the story is the hardliners want the internet to be turned off. Pezeshkian pushed for it to come back. He brought it back, and now there is internal struggle. That's the surface level understanding of what's happening in Iran, and that doesn't even begin to tell you what's actually happening. Let's rewind the tape a little bit and go back to the years of accusations against the so-called reformers of them being Zionist agents inside Iran, Nufuzi, as they call them, right? And then let's go back. Let's go to right after the protest, the uprising in early January, and the massacre that came after. The accusation was that Pezeshkian and other so-called reformers like Zarif, Rouhani, and Araghchi, they signaled to the Americans and Israelis that they could create the conditions for them to kill Ali Khamenei. And the idea is that Pezeshkian on purpose, destroyed the economy so that there would be an uprising, so that uprising will create the grounds for an excuse for the Americans and Israelis to come and kill Ali Khamenei. And then the new accusation by a member of parliament, which was more importantly than that person himself, this video was posted by IRGC, which means that it goes way above a member of parliament. This is an IRGC accusation against Pezeshkian, President Pezeshkian, is that President Pezeshkian is now trying to do the same thing again by ruining the economy inside Iran, so there would be another uprising. So now the Americans and Israelis could kill Mujtaba Khamenei. This is not new. I've already explained this to you guys, but I'm gonna connect it to the internet situation, right? And then we go to one level even deeper. This goes so deep. Right? So how does that relate to the internet now being back in Iran and the apparent fighting between the hardliners and the Pezeshkian's government with regards to the internet, right? So I believe that the accusation is going to be that the reason why President Pezeshkian has turned the internet back on is so that he could help with the uprising happening. So he's not just relying on fucking up the economy so that an uprising could happen. So to create the conditions for the Americans and Israelis to come and kill Mujtaba. He knows that by the internet being shut down, the accusation is that he knows that with the internet being shut down, that would not be possible. The uprising needs, for the Zionists and the Americans to be able to communicate with the infiltrators among the people. So the internet needs to be back on for the networks of these agents to work with each other to create the conditions for an uprising. And President Pezeshkian is not only ruining the economy, but also wants the internet back on to be able to have an uprising, right? So because if you look at the early January uprising, we had the bad economic conditions, but we also had the internet. So he wants to recreate that situation and so that the uprising could happen. Again, these are all obviously bullshit accusations against President Pezeshkian. President Pezeshkian is a good little puppet that does exactly what he's told, and he supports the Islamic Republic, right? But here's an interesting part. Okay, so now let's go. So now you understand how the internet relates to all of these accusations, right? But let's go one layer deeper. So that's interesting because you're saying Funson in the chance saying paranoia basically or blame shifting. Neither. All of this that I'm saying, these accusations against Pezeshkian, they sound retarded, right? To you guys. Like, you're like, oh my God, these fucking idiots. Like Pezeshkian being a Jew, like Zionist spy, Jewish spy, as they say, like they like to accuse each other of. Like, are you fucking kidding me? These people have lost their mind, right? Does it sound retarded to you guys? Oh, thank you. People are saying excellent content. Oh, Texas saying Professor Armin has manifested. Yeah. See, exactly. Goober is saying yes. LOL. Yeah. It sounds retarded, right? Does it sound retarded? Yes? No? No? I mean, it does sound retarded. Okay. This kind of accusation. But I'm here to tell you guys it's actually fucking genius. It does sound retarded, but it's meant to sound retarded. The people behind engineering this accusations against Pezeshkian, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's a very well crafted plan. Like, it's genius, and I'll tell you what it is. Okay. And understanding this makes you understand the Islamic Republic in a way that, I tell you, even some of the most respected Iran politics experts would not like be able to understand this, or like they will understand it once if they watch me. But let me tell you what this is. Yeah, exactly. ML is saying sounds diabolical or insane. Yes. So Texas saying yes and no. Okay. So it is an insane accusation, but it has a purpose, right? So the people who engineered this condition and made this accusation, they are creating these accusations for a retarded group of people who are the pro-regime Iranians, but they themselves are not retarded. They know exactly what they're doing, right? So the reason why you see this manufactured tension here is because of the deal. Is because of the deal with President Trump and the degree that the Islamic Republic has created a situation with its own followers that has reduced its flexibility on the negotiating table. Okay. And that reduction in flexibility is also by design and genius. Okay. So for years, the Islamic Republic has created a radical base of supporters that demand the maximum. And that means that the regime, when it comes to dealing with the Americans, given that this base has maximum radical demands, its hands are tied regarding what it can offer to the Americans, because anything short of what these crazy people want will mean that they will lose their legitimacy among their followers. So this looks like a bug. It does. The reason why it looks like a bug, because that means that the regime cannot make decisions that it wants to, right? Because they're basically, uh, you know, the only remaining Iranian people who support them. If they lose legitimacy among them, then they're fucked. That would be the end of the regime. But let me tell you why this lack of flexibility could also be a feature. Because at the negotiating table, if you come and say, look, my hands are tied, these fuckers are going to like kill me in my sleep if I do this. So I can't be flexible. You need to be flexible. You having a radical base of support that is not flexible helps you at the negotiating table if you can convince the other side that I'm not even able to give you the things that you want. So you need to work with me, and I can't actually move towards your position. The only way that we could get this done is for you to move towards me, right? That's the benefit of having a crazy radical base of support. Okay. But the Islamic Republic has figured out a way to try to demonstrate that lack of flexibility while at the same time being able to untie its hands if it really needs to. If it really, really, really needs to, the Islamic Republic can pretend that my hands are tied. But then if it needs to be flexible at the negotiating table, it could just, it could cut cut the ropes and be flexible. And how does it do that? How do you pretend that I can't be flexible, but then if you're really, really cornered, you become flexible? How does it do that? By convincing the radicals that have maximum demands, that I can't abide by these maximum demands because the fucking reformers, not because of me, because of these fucking reformers, because of Pezeshkian. You blame it on Pezeshkian. Do you see how this works? So if by creating a condition, so the regime supporters are right now very, very angry with the government. Like, why are we negotiating with the Americans? Let's go fuck these people up. Like, what is happening here? So the IRGC and the Beta Rahbari, which is basically the institution of the supreme leadership, as a way to keep their hands clean, even though it's them who are making all the decisions, every time they need to make a decision that would be unpopular among their base, they have Pezeshkian to be as a scapegoat to basically take all the blame. So creating this atmosphere where Pezeshkian is portrayed as an agent of Zionists and the Americans, that means that it's him that is doing all of this. Like, that's not Mujtaba, not Vahidi, it's Pezeshkian. But here's a question: why, if it is so obvious, so here's the question: if it is so obvious to the regime people, pro-regime people in the streets, that Pezeshkian is an agent of Israel, then what would you do if you're a regime supporter? Wouldn't you be like, well, why the fuck are we not arresting this motherfucker and executing him? Like, if we could all see that Pezeshkian is an agent of Zionist, then why is he just walking around freely? How do you deal with that myth? So far, as a regime, you managed to create a condition where you could pretend, like, signal to the Americans that I'm flexible. But if the Americans really, really corner you, you also have a way out to do the things that you need to do to be a bit more flexible without getting the blame. But then the only problem here is then the pro-regime people would be like, IRGC, go kill this motherfucker. There's a Zionist agent inside Iran. Like, why are you fighting against the Israeli agents out there, but not right here? 1 second, Ali. Ali is here, but let me finish this, Ali. I'll finish this because I'm doing a segment, okay? Ali is back, okay, but let me finish this because this is my recording of this. And okay, so Sarah is saying, why aren't they killing Pezeshkian? Because he's such a useful scapegoat. He's such a perfect scapegoat. He's so useful. Why would they kill him? But they wouldn't want to kill him. But how do they convince the pro-regime peoples that they're not going to kill him? This is where you say, because, I kid you not, because we're a democracy. Because he was voted by the people. And we respect the will of the people, even if the people are retarded and they vote in and a Zionist agent. Our hands are tied. It's not us who made the mistake. It's the people who voted in the wrong person, right? Pezeshkian was voted by the people, and we are a people's. Our government is for the people. So even though this motherfucker is a Zionist agent, we would not go against the will of the people. So this is the utility of having a fake democracy, having an election that is completely engineered by the Islamic Republic, with the results being predetermined even before a single vote has been casted, by having this fake democracy, you would convince the pro-regime people that the problem is these other fuckers who go vote for a reformist president. And now, so you have already managed to switch the blame on why the internet is back on, why we're doing a deal, why are we talking to the Americans, why the economy is shit. You have already managed to shift all the blame of that to Pezeshkian. But what would you do with the blame of not arresting or executing Pezeshkian? You would shift that blame to the people who voted for Pezeshkian. Don't be angry with us. That's what the people voted. See that? You see that? Isn't that that's evil, that is evil, but it's genius evil. That's genius. You see how all of this operates? Did you guys understand that? Let me know if you understood that, because this is all, look how detailed all of this plan is. And this is how it has been working for many, many years. Yeah, see, people saying that's genius. Exactly. Now you understand it. So it's not the regime that is retarded. It's the base support of the regime is retarded. And the Islamic Republic is using that to taking full advantage of that. Right? Let me see if you guys, that was amazing. Okay, so that was amazing, Armin. Okay. Guys, now every single one of you who understood this has a much better understanding of the Islamic Republic than even the best experts on this topic, because of what we just went through.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.